and welcome back to our children's virtual program, Book Tasting. I have a new book for you this week called Wish by Barbara O'Connor. But when she is sent to live with family she barely knows, it seems unlikely her wish will ever come true. That is until she meets Wishbone, a skinny stray dog who captures her heart, and Howard, a neighbor boy who proves surprising in lots of ways. Suddenly, Charlie is in serious danger of discovering that what she thought she wanted may not be at all what she needs. Alrighty, so as always, I will read the first few pages of Wish. I looked down at the paper on my desk, the Getting to Know You paper. At the top, Mrs. Willoughby had written Charlemagne Reese. I put a big X over Charlemagne and wrote Charlie. My name is Charlie. Charlemagne is a dumb name for a girl, and I've told my mama that about a gazillion times. I looked around me at the hillbilly kids doing math in their workbooks. My best friend, Alvina, told me that there would be hillbilly kids. You will hate it in Colby, she said. There's just a bunch of dirt roads and hillbilly kids there. She had flipped her silky hair over her shoulder and added, I bet they eat squirrels. I glanced at the lunch boxes under the desk and around me and wondered if there were any squirrel sandwiches in them. I looked back down at the paper in front of me. I was supposed to fill in all this stuff so my new teacher could get to know me. On the line beside describe your family, I wrote bad. What is your favorite subject in school? None. List 3 of your favorite activities: soccer, ballet, and fighting. 2 of those favorite activities were lies, but one of them was true. I'm fond of fighting. My sister Jackie inherited Daddy's inky black hair, but I inherited his fiery red temper. If I had a nickel for every time I've heard the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I'd be rich. Daddy fights so much that everyone calls him Scrappy. In fact, at this very minute, while I'm stuck here in Colby, North Carolina, surrounded by hillbilly kids, old Scrappy is back in Raleigh in the country jail again because of his fondness for fighting. And I don't need a crystal ball to know that at this very minute in our house in Raleigh, smack dab in the middle of the day, Mama is in bed with the curtains drawn and empty soda cans on the nightstand. She will stay in that bed the livelong day. If I was there, she wouldn't care one little bit if I went to school or stayed on the couch watching TV and eating cookies for lunch. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, the social services lady told me when she rattled off a list of reasons why I was getting shipped off to the sorry excuse for a town to live with 2 people I didn't even know. It's better to stay with kin, she told me. Gus and Bertha are kin. What kind of kin, I asked. She explained how Bertha is Mama's sister and Gus is her husband. She said they didn't have any kids and they were happy to take me in. Then how come Jackie gets to stay with Carol Lee? I asked about 1,000,000 times. Carol Lee is Jackie's best friend. She lives in a fancy brick house with a swimming pool. Her mama gets out of bed every morning and her daddy isn't called Scrappy. So that lady told me again how Jackie was practically a grown-up and would be graduating from high school in a couple months. When I pointed out I was in 5th grade and not exactly a baby, she sighed and smiled a fake smile and said, Charlie, you have to live with Gus and Bertha for a while. I'd never laid eyes on those people, and now I was supposed to live with them. When I asked how long I had to be there, she said until things settled down and Mama got her feet on the ground. Well, how hard is it to put your dang feet on the ground, is what I thought about that. You need a stable family environment, she told me. But I knew what she really meant was, you need a family that's not all broken like yours. Still, I whined and argued and whined and argued. Here I am in Colby, North Carolina, staring down at this Getting to Know You paper. Have you finished, Charlemagne? Mrs. Willoughby was suddenly beside me. My name is Charlie, I said, and a greasy-haired boy in the front of the class let out a sputtering laugh. I sent out one of my famous glares his way till he hushed up and turned red. I handed Mrs. Willoughby the paper and watched her eyes dart back and forth as she read it. Her neck got splotchy red and the corners of her mouth twitched. She didn't even look at me before she marched back up to the front of the room and dropped that paper on her desk like it was a hot potato. I slumped down in my seat and wiped my sweaty palms on my shorts. It was only April, but it was already hot as blazes. You want me to help you with that? The boy in front of me pointed at the math worksheet on my desk. He had red hair and wore ugly black glasses. No, I said. He shrugged, took a pencil out of his desk, and headed to the pencil sharpener. Up, down, up, down. That's how he walked, like one leg was shorter than the other, and he dragged one foot along the floor so his sneaker made squeaky noises. I glanced at the clock. Dang it, I missed 11:11. I have a list of all the ways there are to make a wish, like seeing a light horse or blowing a dandelion. Looking at the clock at exactly 11:11 is on my list. I learned that from some old man who owned the bait tackle shop by the lake where Scrappy and I used to go fishing. Now that I'd missed 11:11, I was going to have to find another way to get my wish in for the day. I hadn't missed one single day of making a wish since the end of the 4th grade, so I sure didn't want to miss one now. Alrighty, so I am going to end it there. If you are interested in the book Wish, this is available in the children's collection. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week for a new book.